Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back to another Logging from Scratch episode. So as you can see before me, we have yet another tiger cat. But we also have the new feller buncher attachment. So this is the ugly one from FS19 that I was talking about in the last video. This is not the final version. Whenever this does get released, it's not going to look like this. It'll look like a totally different buncher head. I'm just using this ugly bugger as a template for now so that we could build it and get it ready. So yeah, again, we're going to use this tiger cat model here. Now, this buncher head is not getting released until I have a buncher body model. Like, you can use it on this thing, but it would look better with a buncher body and probably work a little bit better with a buncher body. So, even though you guys are seeing it on this thing right now, I mean, you can, once the head's created, you can put it on whatever machine you want, use it for whatever you want, because we're giving you guys full control this time around to do whatever you want. It's all good. So we're going to do this really slow walkout here while I talk about this thing. So yeah, since doing the conversion on these grapples, the 880, now like I said, it can go way back, it can go way forward. So you can really use any attachment you want on this type of head to control your logs and do your cutting however works best for you. So like I said, again, this is just the ugly temporary model that we're using, but it seems to work pretty good for cutting trees and stuff. So that's kind of what we're going to use for some knocking down. Now right now we do not have a skidder, so there's going to be a lot of either processing on the spot or hoe chucking. More than likely we'll just do a lot of processing because hoe chucking is a pain in the butt with the equipment we have right now. But there is some skidder stuff happening in the background that we're working on, so that'll be pretty exciting once we get going on that. I always find it funny to introduce this stuff as I go through it, because it's like, hey, I'm showing you guys in single player, and then it comes out and it's like, oh, this big surprise. But some of the stuff doesn't quite get 100% to release time, I guess you could say. Some of it stays right where it is, or some of this I'm testing it right now, but maybe the development's not 100% ready. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I think it'll be really good once we get it out there. And like I said, I need different bodies. Like I said, we have 3 tiger cats going now with different heads on them. So we got one with a processor head, one with a buncher now, and one with a grapple loader. So we are working on other bodies. That is a thing. It's just a little bit of slow progress because it does take a lot of work to put these bodies together and make them actually look really nice. So all I can ask is that you guys be patient, because we got a lot of work ahead of us still. And yeah, I'm just really excited, I think, mostly because being able to make this attachment system, and that's the other reason why we haven't put out any new bodies yet, is because I wanted to make sure all the attachments that we make works properly with this grapple system, with this, with this tilt system and attachment system, so that every machine that I make going forward that I want to be able to be multi-attachment, I can use this same kind of system, the way this grapple's set up, on every single one of those machines, regardless of the height, regardless of the shape of the body, all that stuff. And then, the sky's the limit for you guys. It gives you guys the true options for maneuverability for what you want to do. If you want to turn this thing into a buncher and use it for a buncher for the rest of your life, that's totally your choice. You can do that. If you want to use it for a grapple, you can. Working on some excavator buckets as well. Maybe put some thumbs on there. I basically want you guys to be able to take pretty near every one of these machines and say, I want it to be a buncher, I want it to be a, well, the processor will be a little tricky, but I want it to be a buncher, I want it to be a loader, I want it to be an excavator, and give you the full control over that to make that decision. That's kind of what I want. Processors are still locked to the body. Nothing I can really do about that right now. I know there was a guy that did some external scripting that made it so you could attach the processor head. So depending how things go, if I can figure out what he did or get in touch with him, I would probably try to see if I can make that work. But so far the scripting's a little different than it was in 2017, so might be a little tricky. We'll see. Same thing with dangle heads. So far I'm going to have dedicated dangle machines, I think. I may or may not make attachable dangles. I haven't quite decided what's going to happen there. I might just make it so the machine, when you buy it, will have a dangle head on it that you can control and manipulate, but it's going to take a little bit of tweaking and figuring stuff out before we get that far, so. Dangle heads are just going to have to chill out and wait their turn. So we're just kind of sneaking over to this block that we started cutting in here. This is the one that we finally broke the road through, and I just said, hey, let's free fall every tree here. So we're going to do that. And we're going to bunch a whole bunch of stuff together, and then what we'll do is we'll walk around with our processor to these bunching locations and then just process stuff right on the spot. That's my plan. And we'll see how that goes. Let's get this thing all fired up here. Let's take out this crap here. So you can actually use this as a pretty effective stump grinder as well. Again, it's not meant to be on an 880. Like, this giant loader is not meant to be a feller buncher. It's meant to be a loader mostly, and maybe a processor at best. But to be able to bunch, it's not really meant to do it. It still does a pretty good job, but it's definitely not its forte, that's for sure. Which is why I kind of don't really want to put this buncher head out until we have a proper body for it. So, although you guys are seeing me play with this now, this is just kind of temporary beta testing for the time being, until we get a definite plan on things for sure. Let's go scoop this tree out of here. There we go. And we'll just kind of pile all this right here. Oops, well, that's interesting. And then basically what we can do is just walk over with our buncher, or sorry, our processor, and just process all this stuff right on the spot. That's kind of the idea. Normally you'd have a skidder so I could drag it to a location, but we don't quite have that all figured out yet. Grab that bad boy. The cool thing about this, now in this game, we have, we have the stump grinder as a functionable point. So right now I'm using the stump grinder as my cutter on this thing, so I'm able to actually get some pretty proficient cuts without the notch problem happening. So the notch problem was when you cut a tree with a cut node, like a regular cut node, like off the chainsaw or off of like some of the saws that they have in game, it creates a notch in the tree, and basically the game takes over almost an animation of the tree falling. The problem is, if you use that on a buncher, like we're doing right now, if a notch happens, I'll go to grab the tree and it'll actually lag behind. See, like if I grab these, it's instant. Like I grab the tree, it's cut, it's mine now. If I do it with a cuttable head with a cut node, what'll happen is it hangs up and you're pulling on the tree and yanking on it, and then finally, eventually, it just like cuts loose and lets go. But that's not what it's supposed to do, so. But with the introduction of this game, we're able to actually set a cut time on the stump grinder cut node. So that gives me a crap ton more control as a modder to make some interesting tools. I am working on some chippers, some stump grinders. The stump grinder is basically just going to be a mutilation thing that chops trees up and mutilates them on the spot. That's kind of what that's going to be. It's not really going to be a recovery thing. That's more of a chipper. So we're going to have the Destroyer of Worlds I'm going to bring back pretty soon. What I would really like is to have my chipper and maybe a dozer, but I haven't decided whether I want the dozer to be a chipper or a dozer to be a stump grinder. So that's something I got to work out too. All in good time. All in good time. Technically, you could probably put it even on a skidder if you wanted to be a stump grinder and just drag it behind you to chop up stumps or something. With this new setup, there's a lot of possibilities, so we'll have some fun with that. The tree doesn't want to go. There we go. It's kind of stuck behind another tree by the looks of it. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of cut a perimeter around this place here, and we can cut it down however we want, whenever we want. Actually just going to throw this one right here. Oh, I can't wait to clear cut this block. There's something about cutting down a nice chunk out of a forest that just, I just love it. Not to mention it's nice to be able to actually clear cut a little bit now. Let's see if I can get a good screenshot of this thing. That's kind of alright-ish. It's sure ugly though. I mean, this is the old, like I said, the old one from 2017, so I'm glad I'm showing you guys the ugly one so that when we do get the good one out, it'll just blow your minds even more. Functionality-wise, though, it works really well for cutting down trees, I've found. As you guys can see, it's pretty proficient for knocking these in a good way. And you can just smoke out these little trees. Oh, I love that, too. Smoke it out. A little bit of glitchiness in the head. I'm still working on a couple little things there, but again, like everything in this game, there's sacrifices that got to be made for certain functionality and certain components, so just got to play it by ear. And I think I'm just going to keep piling these right kind of in the middle as we go, like right in here. Beauty. And we'll grab that one. And throw that there. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good feeling to be bunching again, though. I really, really missed bunching. I think it's just because you can really, unlike processing. Like processing, I always feel like I gotta plan out where my piles are going as I'm cutting them down, and I get a little like backed up in the tree line. This one, you just literally are mowing the tree line down as you walk, so there's nothing really to be left behind to decide on. You just kind of make a big nasty mess, and it's a good feeling. It's easy. That's what I like about it. It's nice and easy. Bunching makes sense. No planning involved. Well, I mean, there's a little bit of planning involved, but it doesn't feel like as much planning is involved. Oops. Turn that head off for a second and correct that one. There we go. I mean, we're not skidding them, so they don't really need to be all that perfect, but gosh darn it, we're going to try our best, all right? Am I stuck on something here? Oh, there we go. Just learn how to drive, that's all, you know. The normal, the usual. I just recently put out an update for this, not recently. You guys are probably using that update far before this video comes out, but I put out an update. I fixed the suspension in this thing, so it is a lot smoother to operate. Like these tracks, for instance, used to be a lot more bouncy in the original release, so now they are super duper not so bouncy anymore, which is great. Let's cut this one here. But I also find that they hang up on stuff. That's the sacrifice of this game, is if you want them not bouncy, they won't be as maneuverable because there's no suspension travel, or less suspension travel, I guess you can say. More spring, less suspension travel causes them to hang up on the terrain a little bit more. But at the same time, it makes it less bouncy. So if you want to be able to climb terrain better, you have to add suspension travel. But in doing so, it makes the machine bouncy because the suspension goes up and down and up and down. So it's kind of a battle of the bands, man, you know? Gotta pick the winner. But I think this is probably the nicest balance between both worlds, where you can still travel on pretty much all terrains. Obviously, there's probably going to be some hang-ups on some terrain, but for the most part, it travels well on all the terrains. And, although it may still be a teeny bit bouncy, it's nowhere near what it was for being bouncy, so that's good. That's the important part right there. Yeah, it's just mutilating the forest, hey? Just the way we used to. Now, I don't really have a plan to exactly where I'm going to end the cut block. We got to find a stop point here eventually. Alright, so let's throw this down. Hunker down here, boys. And right about here. And let's get another one. Let's get this guy right here, maybe? Oops. Oop, uh-oh. Did we get it? Oh, yeah, we got it. Got a little hung up on something there by the looks of it. Okay. What do we got behind us here? Dead trees. Alright, so that's a nice little line of trees right here on our left as well. So why don't we start up here just a teeny bit. I think we should cut the end of the block right by that stick of wood. That'll be our cutoff point right there. So let's throw down some wood here. I'm going to walk ahead a little bit here. Grab that one. See how my cutter's kind of... I need to find a little bit better range for my cutter. It kind of gets stuck in the head a little bit, and they go... which is kind of not what I want. I want them to be a little bit away from the head. Alright, there we go. And we'll drop that in here. And we'll throw this one right here. And that'll be the end of that. We'll stop the block right here by that bit of wood. But we still have a lot to go cut back on here too. Just gonna kind of hopefully not walk over my own trees here. Oh, there we go. So let's cut another couple into this one. Oh, it's a heavy stick, isn't it? I want this one too, and then we'll make a new pile here after that. You don't want to put too many in one pile, because if you do, then it gets a little bit fugly. Bloop. Beauty. BEA, beautiful. Alright, so let's keep backing up here. We'll make a couple more piles. So I just basically just want to clear cut back over what we've done already here. That's kind of the idea. Maybe we'll make that the outside line. We'll cut this one tree and call that the edge. Just because that's what we're deciding to do here. Sure, that's a nice line point. Because we kind of got that edge over there. Those trees are all settled, so let's give this one a little snip here. Oops. Easy there. Ooh, she's a heavy boy. Woo-hoo-hoo. Give her a little toss here. Down with the ship. Some of those heavy ones are crazy. Crazy wood, man. Okay, I'm gonna get these 3 trees, and then I think we'll be at the end of our episode here. This thing does not traverse as nice as I wish it did, though. I think it's just because the weight of the head makes it kind of jitter a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's causing that. I mean, granted, we're bunching really well. Like, it feels like we've done a lot of bunching, like a lot of work. Even in our 20-minute episode here, like, I feel like we've cleared quite a bit of trees. And smoothly, like, we've covered a lot of distance as well. So we kind of cut that whole block, but it feels like it hangs when I'm turning especially, so I'm going to look into that and just see if that's something. I think it's related to the head, to be totally honest. Let's lay this down here. That's a little far away from the pile. Let's give it a bump. There we go. Okay, so I think that's pretty well set for that, and I think we'll just follow this tree line right back as we go here. So I'm just going to park this buddy for a minute. Let's see here. We kind of got a bit of a tree line. Actually, I could probably cut those 3 out, and it would make a straighter tree line. We'll determine that when we come back. And then the end of it was like right here. I just need the ability to spray paint the ground so I can see where my tree line is. And I think we'll work this right out to like a clearing, like right out to this clearing here, and just take all these out. It'll make a lot of piles, but I think it'll be pretty sweet. Nice. Yeah, we got lots of bunches, so that worked out really good. Let's see if I can I still want to get like a better shot here. Let's see here. Let's do this. This will be funny for a screenshot. If I can, I'm trying to get like a good weird angle here. Sure, that's a weird angle. Anyway, I'll stop bugging you guys with wading through all these pictures here. So, if you guys liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment. Do not forget to subscribe. And if you're in the bush, don't forget to hug a tree. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.